an hour, not an hour and a half, so we'll survive.
All right.
Yeah.
I was confused because I have someone coming after you, so I got you flipped.
Yeah, no worries. I left Phoenix home.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Doing the both of them would be very difficult.
Yeah.
But at this point, you just want to focus on Logan here, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Phoenix is fine. Phoenix, I don't even use the collar. He comes back.
Gotcha.
He stays close. He doesn't go anywhere. This one, see? The minute he saw something.
Already wandering.
Already looking at stuff. Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, go ahead and let that part go.
Okay.
So we can untangle this here.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll start with a quick review.
Okay.
So I can see what you remember.
Yeah.
Most important thing is always that we just remember things correctly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I may have forgotten some of it.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
So we'll do that, and then, pending everything's going well,
Yeah.
we will work on the second half of the recall. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Should
go well. He's been doing well, even without the collar, but then it's usually with the treat.
Sure.
So, oh, there's a squirrel. He's gonna go.
Yep.
Yeah, I see the squirrel.
So he has prey drive?
Yeah, both Phoenix and me.
Good.
Squirrel, yeah.
Okay. Got a little bit of a spaghetti knot here.
Oh. Yeah, I was using the long one on both of them.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't get a chance to untangle him. Phoenix had the 100 feet one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and this guy had the 50 feet. And so
I had a client that did a 100-foot one. It's just ridiculously long.
Phoenix is fine, but when they both start tangling with each other, then I have this complete knot with two of them.
Okay, so that's gonna go through there. Okay, so that's looking good. All right. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, I just want to maybe remember the steps again, because the way I was doing it is, I would have him go a little further.
Okay.
Then it sort of gets a little taut.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stop, and I say come, and hit till he and move backwards.
Correct.
Yeah, and I move backwards, and then I hit it, and the minute he starts coming close, I stop.
Correct.
And he comes and sits by me.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But it was my fault.
Okay, so what we'll do here is I'll have you grab about maybe here.
Okay.
Just to shorten it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold Logan for you, like we did at the facility.
Yeah.
Okay, just be mindful because you're gonna be moving backwards.
Yeah.
And the snow is a little uneven here.
Yep.
And slippery, okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna keep this guy distracted.
Yeah.
Come here, bud. I'm going to get some distance here. So don't worry about getting it done perfectly.
Yeah.
Just show me, what you remember, okay? And what's your number currently?
28.
Okay.
Logan, come.
Good. Good. Now praise.
Oh,
Good.
good job.
And break. Wrenches, repeat that a few more times, okay? So I'm gonna pull him away here.
Good boy. Good job.
Come here, bud. Break. Break. Come on. Good.
Logan, come.
Good.
Good boy. Good job.
Good. We're gonna do one more. That all looks good.
Yeah, he's been good about it. Even he knows it. He's been listening better.
Good.
Yeah.
We're gonna do one more.
Yeah.
And then if you see me answer my phone, my brother took my dog to my vet.
Okay.
So he's taking care of it. They're not supposed to call me, but in case they do. Come on. Come on.
Good boy.
Come on. Good boy. Come on. Good. Excellent. Good. So that looked good. Only thing, and I know there's snow, is when it's clear, those big steps to make it very clear. Here you got to be careful, but just so we know that. So all that looked good. So now, when you call Logan, let's say he comes to you, he lands, he auto sits. If you were to move again, what should Logan do?
He'll follow me.
Yes, right? We want him to follow you.
Okay.
Did we do 1 or 2 classes on recall? Just one, right?
One.
Okay. So we're gonna add what I call my sidestep exercise. So a couple of things with the recall is, one, typically when people call their dog away from something, like the squirrels, playing with dogs, is they'll come back, but they tend to go right back to the squirrels, right? So this exercise is meant to kind of cement that once you call them, they're he's supposed to stay. Exactly. The other part of it is it's going to create some confusion, and you might see Logan get confused and run off. And we of course want to teach him that you never want to run away. And it gives us a means to force these mistakes and correct them, to teach him, like, whenever we do this, you never run away. If anything, you always run back to me. Okay? So with this exercise, when you call Logan, we're just going to add an extra piece. So when he arrives to you, let's say he lands on your right, okay, is I'm going to give you directions, and we're going to move either backwards like this, or we might move to the left like this, or we might move to the right like this, okay? Yes. What we won't do is move forward, okay? Do you know why? What does forward look like? Like, he'll follow you then, but what does it look like?
Like we're going.
Like you're what?
Like we're going. Like we're leaving.
What command?
Oh, a heel.
Heel,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So the reason why I don't want to move forward is a lot of dogs will default into the heel. So then I don't know if they're moving with the owner because of the recall, or if they're moving because of the heel. So if you go to the right like this, you don't want to go like this, because that looks like heel. Yeah. So you're gonna move very awkwardly backwards and to the immediate left or right. You can even do angled like this. That's fine as well. You're just moving in a manner that he does not know how to heel. Exactly. Correct. So I'll take Logan, go and issue him break. Okay, and I'll coach you through the first few. Come here, bud.
Yeah, I don't think he remembers break. I've not used break. I use free?
Oh, you can use free.
Yeah.
You can use whatever your release word is. It's just I use break, so I forget whose word is what. Come here, buddy. All right, attaboy. Good. Come here. Good. Whenever you're ready. Come here. Fine. Good. Good. Now here, careful. Try 2 steps to your left, yeah? Now hold right there. Yeah, wait right there. Good. Now try 2 steps backwards. Good. Hold right there. Tap for the auto sit. Good. And then try 1 more to the left. Good. Go on, tell him break. Or free, I'm sorry. Free. Good. Come here, bud. All right. So when you do the side steps, 2 to 3 max. Break or free. Come here, bud. Yeah, boy. Come on. Come on. Good job, buddy. Come on. Sorry, bud. Good. Now here, turn to face him. Move backwards, tap. Good. Now wait. Turn to face him. Backwards, tap, tap, tap. Good, hold right there. Right, good. Good. Now try to your right 2 steps. Good, wait right there. Good, now try backwards 3 steps. 1, 2, 3, good, hold right there. Good. Good. Now wait a second. Tap for the auto sit. Good. And praise. Good boy. And free. Good. Let's go ahead and bring him back this way. Come here, bud. Good. So if you see him overshoot, like he did there, you always want to turn to face him. Back and then keep tapping until he comes into your space there. Okay, sounds good. Come here, bud.
Logan.
Got a boy. Come on. Good boy. Good. Good.
Logan, come.
Right, good. 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 And pray, up, tap, yep. And praise, good boy. Good. And free. Good, we're gonna do that 2 more times. Good boy. Here, buddy. Come here, bud. Come here. Atta boy. There we go. Oh, not yet, bud. There we go. Come on. Good boy. Come on. Atta boy. Okay. Good. Good boy. That's it. Come on. Come on. That's it. Good boy.
Logan, come.
Right, and back tap. Good. Tap. Good. Good. Tap. Good. And praise. And free. All right, we're gonna do one more here. Come here, bud. Come on, bud. Yeah, boy. Come on. Good boy. Come on. Good. Come on. That's it. Good. That's it. Good. Good.
Logan, come.
Good. Tap. Good. Tap for the auto sit. Good. Right, good. Tap for the auto sit. Good. Turn to face him, backwards. Tap, 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 tap. Right, good. 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 Excellent. And praise once you're done with this one. Right, good. And praise. All right. So let's go ahead and release, and then just bring them back this way. Come here, bud. So what do you go for, like a squirrel or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see.
Okay.
I couldn't see it. I didn't see a squirrel.
Okay. So right there, like for whatever reason,
Yeah.
he decides to like wander off.
Yeah.
So then immediately, instead of going into a repeat, right? Like instead of saying come again,
Yeah.
you just turn to face him, start remoting and walk backwards. Okay. So what we're teaching him is, if you call him, I thought this was like a rabbit or
I
something.
was also wondering what was.
So is you're teaching him, if I call you,
Yeah.
stick to me.
Yeah.
Even if I move, you're supposed to stay at my side.
Right. Right.
And if you prematurely break away for a distraction or scroll or something, this is going to kick in automatically until you return. Okay. So then he's going to think, okay, if mom calls me, my job is to come to her and stay put. Okay. And if she moves, I should follow her.
Right.
So we start to see him get a little bit kind of paranoid.
Yeah.
When I would take him, right, you start to see him circling around because he knows, oh, we're going to repeat this again, right? So that's normal.
Yeah.
This is why I don't prefer, when we're practicing to do it like this, because the dogs get anxious because they know what's going to happen. So instead, we do this in the beginning just to teach it.
Yeah.
And then we go to walking at the park. I'm on the long leash with the dog, and they're chasing squirrels and rabbits and stuff. And I hang on to the end of it, and then I call them from chasing squirrels. Okay? So you want to use something realistic.
Okay.
I don't do stay and then call the dog, because when you're going to call him, he's most likely going to be doing something. Right? Like he's not going to be sitting there waiting for you to call him like a good boy. He's going to be chasing a squirrel, chasing a rabbit, play with the dog or something like that. So you want to actively practice when he's doing something. Now, typically when people use the recall, the dog is moving away from them, running away, chasing something, or running towards something they shouldn't. So I like to try to replicate that as much as possible. So like here, let's say there was more squirrels, and this is where having a shorter leash would be probably a little bit better, just because once he gets 50 feet away, it's really hard to get some leverage in there. Is you can call him at different points of the pursuit. You could call him when he's already at the tree barking. You can call him when he's on his way, right? Mid-run, or you can call him just as he's leaving. And I tell people to do it at each different point because it's different for the dog. Because if he's full speed running and chasing something, that's completely different as opposed to already being there and jumping and barking, okay? I have no problem with dogs chasing squirrels or whatever. I just want to know that if I call them, they'll stop what they're doing and respond. Also, like let's say you let him bark at the tree, the longer you let him do that, the more disconnected he gets from you. Okay, he's gonna get more in tune to like, oh, this squirrel barking right now, this is a lot of fun. So I'll give him 5 minutes. I'll just ignore him and just let him go at it, and then Logan come. Okay, because now he has to disengage from the activity and come to you. Okay, so I also try to be mindful not to call the dogs too much, because then they'll get paranoid. So like right now, right, because he knows what's going to happen. He was getting paranoid. So then if you practice every single time he chases a squirrel, if you always call him, he's going to stop chasing squirrels. Because he's going to think, you're just going to call me anyways, so what's the point of me even trying to chase him? So sometimes I'll let the dog do their thing, and instead of calling them, I'll just use the leash to pull them away, or I'll go and grab them, so that they don't think that it's going to be a guaranteed
Result.
Yeah, exactly. Every time they chase.
Every time they go.
Because then they'll start to prematurely
Anticipate, like, or worry.
and then run away, or he won't even chase the squirrels anymore. He's gonna go, I know you're gonna call me, so we don't no need to do this. Okay. Now questions about any of this stuff here?
the thing with the calling, you practice calling them when they're at the tree, midway, or at the start. Usually when they're sort of midway in the pursuit, they're not hearing you.
Mm-hmm.
Like their mind is at that prey or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. So do I just keep hitting this till they come back?
So one thing would be, in the masks make it a little bit more difficult,
Yeah.
is when people call their dog, they tend to go lower.
Okay.
And you want to go higher.
Okay.
Logan, come,
Yeah.
higher pitch. Okay, so that's one thing.
Okay.
The other thing is, you're correct in that when they're in that pursuit, he is so engaged
Right,
in
it's
chasing,
focused, yeah.
is that he completely ignores what
Right.
you're saying.
Yep.
So once you, like you said, you keep going up,
Yeah.
and maybe one day you go to 90,
Yeah.
and Logan goes, crap, and he returns, right?
Okay.
He just learned, oh, you might call me as I'm chasing the squirrel, so I should be more attentive, so I don't get the 90, okay? So dogs can have the ability to be focused on something and still listening to you, okay? So like, I had a client whose dog was staring at a squirrel.
Yeah.
The dog was sitting like right there. We were behind the dog.
Yeah.
The dog, we were not in their viewpoint at all.
Yeah.
And I said, tell your dog down.
Yeah.
And she said down. Dog lay down, but was still staring at the squirrel,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So she's like, oh wow. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, your dog can be distracted
Yeah.
and engage with something and still be paying attention to you.
Okay.
But you just have to teach them, right? So expect the first time that happens, it's probably not gonna go well.
Right.
You're gonna have to keep going up,
Right.
right? Maybe it takes you 5 minutes before he finally comes back. But you've just taught him, hey, when you're chasing something, I might call you.
Yeah.
So just pay attention, right? I don't care that you chase the squirrels,
Yeah.
but when I call you, you need to return immediately, okay? And that's where limiting the leash also makes it easier for you.
Yeah.
Because like, let's say you have him on the 100-foot line.
Yeah.
Oh, he can
He can
ignore
go
you,
all the
he
way.
keep going, right?
Especially here, he can go around 3 trees
Yes.
and then completely tangle the whole thing, and then yeah.
So what I would do is drop down to like a 30, or like pick, if you're gonna do 50,
Yeah.
you know, just grab it 20 feet in,
Yeah.
because now you're limiting, even if he chases a squirrel, at some point he's gonna hit the end of the leash,
Right.
right?
Which
So
he
that
did with this. Actually, he hit the end.
he hit the end right there.
Yeah.
So that helps him
Yeah.
learn that there's a limitation,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
obviously we want him to respond before he hits the end of the leash,
Right.
but you can use that to your advantage.
Yeah.
Because then he's thinking like, oh crap, like I tried to chase a squirrel, but I couldn't even get there
Yeah.
completely anyways, okay? So,
That's why he started coming back. The only thing is and I thought he wasn't like, maybe he wasn't feeling this. When he was coming back, I hit it and he twitched.
mhm.
So he felt it, but he still kept going.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why the twitch just lets you know you have contact.
Yeah.
That's why we have the connection, perception, and working, right?
Yeah.
The working number is, oh, we're just walking through the neighborhood, 25.
Yeah.
Oh, there's squirrels all over the place,
Yeah.
65, right? I don't know what's gonna be.
Right. Right.
And what I like to do is you can use these things to proof his obedience.
Yeah.
So like I have a client whose dog is a German short hair pointer,
Yeah.
very good prey drive.
Yeah.
And we were practicing long leash, and we were at the park, and there was a squirrel at the tree,
Yeah.
and I told her, tell your dog to heel and walk straight to the tree. Okay, and as she was walking to the tree, the dog could, he was like getting ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All of a sudden, he took off. She turned and started correcting him. She had to go to 100,
Oh wow.
and then he finally ran back, right? And I said, walk to the tree again.
Yeah.
So in this time, she started walking towards the tree, and she kept walking away, walking back, walking away, walking back, and he was stuck to her side. So now he learned, like, okay, if I'm in command and I cave in,
Yeah.
this thing can go to 100,
Yeah.
okay? And then we were able to correct the behavior, and then he was able to harness his prey drive and go, oh, okay, I should be sticking to mom's side, okay? So
Good boy.
prey drive,
Yeah.
ball drive, food
Yeah.
drive, all these things are great. I just want to make sure that I can use it to my advantage
Right.
to make it realistically applicable, because if it's not going to apply to real life, it's kind of pointless,
Yeah.
okay? So that's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
So, other questions?
So say he now saw another dog and wants to go say hi to those 2 dogs.
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm.
Because that's the other thing. He will want to go say hi to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Do I then, what is a better thing to do? Is just as he starts doing it, so he doesn't even
yep.
get there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, because you want to think of it 2 ways.
Yeah.
I guess an example would be, let's say, barking out the window. Okay. A lot of people, when their dog barks out the window,
Yeah.
they call their dog,
Yeah.
and the dog comes back.
Yeah.
But guess what happens?
They just go back again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? And the owner goes, Jesse, I call my dog,
Yeah.
but then they keep barking at the window.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. I'm like, because you said come, right? And they go, yeah. I'm like, your dog came, right? And they go, yeah. I'm like, but did you tell your dog not to bark out the window? And they go, no. So that's why the dog goes back, right?
Yeah.
So here, if Logan starts to take off and say, like, I'm gonna go say hi to those dogs. If you say, Logan, come, he's gonna come back. And then when you say, Logan, free, he'll go back, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what you would do is what you said, is tap the moment you see the thought process.
Yeah.
And what you're telling them is, no.
Don't think about it.
That's not something you can do, right? So like if I brought my dogs here, you would see them peeing and pooping and rolling around, running around, right? And you could see people walking their dogs by, they don't care about them, okay? Because they know that those dogs are not in their bubble. So we have different bubbles. We have intimate, personal, community, and public, okay? Your intimate space is 2 to 3 feet of you. That's where, like, you know, loved ones, your dogs, you know, close friends, you allow them in your bubble, right? Then we have personal space. That's 3 to 8 feet. So like right now I'm in your personal space, right? But I'm not in your intimate space. Then we have a community space. So imagine, like, let's say someone comes here, they throw a birthday party, they have tables and stuff, usually about anywhere between 8 to like 20 to 30 feet. So anybody within, like, you would assume anybody in that space is a part of the birthday party, right? And if you were to see someone who's not invited to the party walking in that bubble, you go, who are you, right? And then you have public space. Public space would be anything beyond, right? So all these people are in the public space, okay? So for dogs, their radar tends to tick at that 20 to 30 foot mark, okay? So when you see this guy, right, let's say he's off.
I know he's watching. I can tell.
And all that's in the public space, right? So he's like not gonna care.
And he's seen that. Oh, he's not going to care.
He shouldn't care.
Oh, because he's seeing that those dogs are there.
Yes.
And he will want to run at some point. That's why I asked.
Yes. So like, let's say you're walking with him and he's off leash. He's running around. You want to imagine a 20 to 30 foot bubble around Logan and around Phoenix, okay? And watch. You'll see him going, and then you'll see another dog coming, and that dog also.
Has a 20 to 30 feet.
And when you see that bubble overlap, kind of like those graphs, then you'll see them show interest, and then you'll see them greet each other, okay? So this gives you an idea. So when you're walking with him and you see Logan going off and you're like, hey, his bubble and that dog's bubble are getting close, that's where you would tap, and you should see him disengage, and if anything, start to move towards you, okay? So once we've done the recall, his assumption is going to be that the tap means to come in closer, okay? The recall is get all the way here, right? And then there's too far, or don't worry about that dog, come over here, okay? So I don't need you to come all the way here. I just need you to stop with what you're doing and move into the space.
How will they understand the difference?
Because of the word. When there's no word, when there's word, right? When there's no word, that's a correction. Too far, ignore that dog.
Just don't do what you're doing.
Yes, okay? So, but because he has recall, his assumption is going to be, okay.
If he said come, it means to come back.
Yeah, okay? So like my dogs, if I tap them, like they'll like stop what they're doing and you just see them moving closer, but then they'll keep doing it over here, okay? And it's just through repetition. Now let's say you accidentally tapped Logan too high, you'd most likely see him come all the way here, because now he's being cautious. Now he's going, oh, what did I get 80 for? Okay? So when you do this correction.
I've done that with Phoenix a few times because I've now flipped it, and it's been on Logan's number.
Sure.
And Phoenix like freaked out and come straight back to me.
Yep.
Because I hit him with a wrong.
It's an overhit. Yep.
It was an overhit.
So then what we do there is we always ignore. Because if you're like, oh my God, I'm sorry, he thinks when I feel that I'm supposed to do this, and I actually just want him to take it and like just like ignore it. Okay.
I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I did that. That's what I did.
Yeah, that's what most people do. So we always ignore it because I don't want the dog to think that's the answer. But I understand why the owner does it. Okay. So in the beginning, let's say you tap this guy, and he, for whatever reason, does a full recall, you wouldn't praise him. Okay, because we didn't call him. I don't want him to assume that tap means to come all the way to me. It was just like, hey, you're going too far, or whatever it is, coming closer. Okay. So that's the thing about e-collar, is it's not just a tool to reinforce obedience. It's a means of communication. You know, too far, ignore that dog. Don't eat that goose poop. Leave that. And you can even like walk with the dogs and have them ignore squirrels until you give them permission. Like you can really fine tune it. Okay. Because one way to avoid squirrels would be when I tell you to heel, we have to walk past squirrels, you're not going to leave, right? Or He's not in the heel. He's on his own time. But I say, you can't chase squirrels today, right? With the pressure. And I'm telling him every time he tries to chase one, I correct him, and I'm like, not today. Okay, so then he goes, oh, just because I'm free doesn't mean I can chase squirrels. Okay, so I don't care what your rules are, but you want to have consistent rules. If your thing is, hey, Jesse, I don't care if he chases squirrels, then I go, okay, don't correct him for it. You know, some people want to give their dogs permission so that they don't get the random impulses. So like if they're walking and they see a squirrel that they don't see and the dog takes off, to prevent that from happening, they'll correct the dog. And it's usually more like very heavily prey-driven dogs that they put more rules to. But I just tell everybody, you can have whatever rules you want. Let your dogs chase or not, or only on permission. Exactly. Don't change it every other day, because that's going to become problematic. Okay. Other questions?
So say he was off leash. I didn't realize this, and he has sort of gone to the other dog to say hi.
Oh, sure.
Okay. And it's going fine. But with Logan, at some point, I don't know. I still don't understand if he's playing or not. I think he is, but he starts to growl.
Okay.
And the other dog on the other side doesn't get it. Sometimes they can get mad and return. Sometimes they get it and they're playing. But I don't want I don't want the interaction to continue at that point, because I don't know. I don't know if he's angry or not, and I don't want him to start growling and the dog gets mad. How do I then do a correction then?
I would do a recall.
Okay.
Because, so technically you're correct.
Yeah.
Technically you would correct him for the growling to teach him to tell him not to growl.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why I say to avoid that is because, especially if you're too far away, you're not going to have, if it were to escalate for whatever reason, now you have a bigger problem, right? But if I just call him, I can avoid a potential escalation. Okay. Now it might be when that dog, because you also want to think about that dog's energy. Let's say Logan is fine, but then the dog is super excited and he's like, hey, I don't like that. In his world, that's fine. Like, that's what they do. They like, hey, this is too much energy. I'm gonna bite you. That's not aggressive. That's just how they correct each other.
But that's the owner on the other side needs to understand that.
But that's the other thing,
right?
too.
Usually, because Huskies play rough, so I'm never concerned because I know the difference between a dog getting pissed off and them playing. But it's always the owner on the other side I have to worry about. I'm not concerned as much as my dog, because even if I say stop or something, like Phoenix completely will, him I can correct and that would be okay. But I don't know how the other person's gonna react. So I'd rather just avoid.
I would just do a recall, because like I have my pit bull. And when she plays, she like shows her teeth and stuff, but she's playing. But everybody's like, oh my God, I'm like, all right, let's go.
I mean, pit bulls get it the worst, but Huskies are not too far behind, because especially when you see two together, people just get scared.
Interesting.
They were just, when I walk with them even, everyone's like, oh my God.
Sure.
Like, see, she just turned around.
So, your best bet would just do a recall and just pull them all the way out of there. Because of the other dog. It's super simple when it's like, when it's squirrels, because I don't care what happens to the squirrel, right? I don't care if with the goose poop and stuff, right? But we care about the other dog, because if something escalates, then we have liability, right? So that's where things get complicated. So recall is your best bet there. You just pull them completely out the situation. Now the problem would be if you pull them out the situation and that dog keeps pursuing them.
Right, there's that too. And if I recall him from the situation, hopefully it's at the point that he comes back. If he's in the middle of something, he may try to ignore as possible. I'll keep trying to increase it. I'll keep increasing it, of course. But hopefully in that time it doesn't escalate.
Right. So this is where repetition is key. Right. So like when you practice with squirrels, that's what's going to give you an idea of his realistic response. Okay. So I think you're at 29, right? Let's say you call Logan from a squirrel. And you're tapping at 29, and it takes 5 taps before he turns. And when he comes back, he's kind of slow. Higher. Okay, then I go to 35, then I go to 40, then I go to 45. Immediate, right? So that when we do find we're in the situation with the dog and I call him, you've already conditioned. When I call you, it's immediate. Okay? So yeah, take advantage of anything that you know he loves. Squirrels, rabbits, whatever. I even had a client who's birds, and over there by there's all the geese and stuff.
Oh God.
Yeah,
I love Phoenix too. When I have 2 of them together, that's fun.
So use all that stuff to your advantage, because it's controlled context that you can just keep practicing, and it'll transfer over to dogs. Okay. But now at this stage, whenever you call Phoenix or Logan, when you're doing the remote stuff, you always want to make sure you have the leash on them. Okay, because you have to be able to make it happen. Because you could do the tapping and the moving back, but if he decides like, no, I'm not going to do it, you have no means of making him return.
The only time I do it off leash is in the dog park. like in an enclosed dog
Sure,
park.
that's fine.
That's the only time.
Yeah, that's fine.
But otherwise, no, they're not out and about where I can do it. The other question is, so in the situation you mentioned with the geese or the squirrel, you said to practice all three, like, you know, when they're leaving, when they're halfway there, and even when they're... What's the best, which one's the quickest way to condition them, though? That, hey, this is not something you're supposed to do.
When they're 3/4 of the way in pursuit. Right? So the longer he goes when he's chasing, the more momentum, the more lost he is. Especially when they're just about to get there. That's the best part. Okay? Because he's so close, and then you got to make him disengage. Okay? And like I was here with the client, and he has crazy prey drive. And that's what we were doing. There was a like a bird in the squirrel in the tree, and right when he got there, they called him, and boom, 180. Right? But every time they'd go out, because they used to go to the forest preserve and stuff, they were practicing every day, you know, and then also just allowing them to have the hunts sometimes, so that you balance it out.
Oh yeah, I don't intend to do it every time, but I also want that the conditioning that if I have to or need to, like he sees a squirrel across the street, you know, and that I don't want him to run across the street. I want him to respond quickly.
Yes.
Like, and right away come down.
And this is where power also is super important. Because even if you practice the recall 3/4 of the way, but you're too low, you're just practicing seeing a slow response. But one thing that I do suggest that people do, and it's optional, is once you've done enough training, and you say, I think Logan is really good, is you take him out in the long leash, give him the entire leash, you're gonna max out the collar, okay? You tell him free, and you just let him be a dog. 20 minutes in, randomly, tap him 3 times real fast with 127. What's gonna happen is he's gonna, right? And he's either gonna run away or he's gonna run to you, okay? If he runs away, you have the leash, 127 until, and moving back until he returns, okay? If he runs straight to you, perfect, praise, and then ignore him, and then leave him alone, because now he's gonna be paranoid, okay? I do that to proof the command. So anytime anyone has ever come to me and it was like, Jesse, man, that recall, an emergency situation, 127. So what we're doing is, it sucks because you know this is not going to be a good day for you, Logan, right? But you're preparing Logan and yourself in for the moment of emergency, where we're going to have to go to 127, and you have to account that you're going to be panicked. He's going to be panicking. This is going to be high in the number, right? You're not going to be thinking clearly. Is by doing that, once he feels 127 and learns running away is not an option if he does that, and 127 doesn't stop till he comes back, is then you have a really solid recall. Okay, so then if he has to jack it up and I go to 127, he's already done it before, he's gonna return. Okay, and that'll help proof all those other situations too. Okay, other questions?
I think I just need to practice it more. I think I've got it. I just need to practice and make it.
Yes.
Proof.
Now recall does take the longest to teach because it requires you to go somewhere. It also, you can't drill it too much because then he's not going to leave your side.
Well, that's the thing. And I have 2 dogs. I have to figure out how to walk.
Yeah, twice on the homework.
And I have limited amount of time to. I can't do it separately. So.
Sure.
You just don't have the window for that.
I would just prioritize him. If Phoenix is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, not if I left him in like a big field.
Sure.
I'm not there yet with him either. He's pretty good in areas we know.
Sure.
But if I brought him here, I wouldn't let him off.
But he's had no issues with dogs, right?
No, he has not.
Oh yeah. So with him, because of the whole growling thing and stuff, I'd probably just prioritize him. Cause and then once you get him there, then you can worry about Phoenix. Okay. Because Phoenix at least has some training that you've done before, and he's the new guy.
Right. And he's more mature that way. Like this guy's still young, that he doesn't have that impulse control.
Sure.
Phoenix is like, okay, I got it. He'll walk away from stuff. Like he doesn't get into stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, this guy doesn't have it.
Anything else?
That's it. I did a DNA test on him. He's apparently 100% husky. So.
Oh wow.
So he's got nothing else mixed in. So he's just a small husky.
I think this is number 4 for you, right?
This is 4.
Okay.
Correct.
So just think about what you want to cover for the next 2.
Yeah, the next one is the whole stay and sort of some of the other commands, and get him to do
Okay.
this. He doesn't stay at all.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Those are more sort of the other commands that, what else can I teach him?
Sure.
The 6th one I have to think through that.
Okay,
I don't
that's
know
fine. Yeah, we could do that on the 5th class.
Yeah.
And that gives you more time to think about the other stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the recall looked good. You have the side steps to add in now to just kind of prove things a bit more.
That's the only other thing in recall.
In the recall, yeah. It's just the side steps. And when you do that, don't always do it when you call him. Every now and then when you call him, because then again he gets too paranoid, and then he won't leave your side, and then you can't practice recall.
He never sat with me this long. He never sits quietly like this the entire time.
Yeah.
Ever.
And that's the thing about recall, is it puts boundaries to things.
Yeah. Or he's a little paranoid too, maybe.
Yeah.
Where he's like, okay, let me not move.
Yeah, but like all this is good. So like if somebody were to walk with their dog, like technically you shouldn't care.
I'm shocked that he hasn't moved at all.
Anything else?
No, I think it's the dog situations. It's the he's getting mouthy with me.
Okay.
When he's getting, I think, pissed off at Phoenix or something, he gets mouthy with me, and he tries to bite me. But I mean, I'll say knock it off or stop it, and he'll stop it. But that initial sort of like, he doesn't have his collar on at home.
Sure.
So there's no way to correct with that. But I was just trying to understand why he's doing it. He didn't do it in the beginning.
What is he mouthing at? Your hands?
Yeah.
Have you tried the bitter spray?
I haven't tried it on my hands, no.
You spray it on your hands,
okay.
And if anything, like, provoke it, where you start playing with them and stuff,
yeah.
and when he puts his mouth on your hands,
Okay.
to taste it.
Okay.
So that can potentially, but some dogs like the bitter taste, so.
Yeah, well, Phoenix did. He didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was biting the furniture, so.
If you look at, because there's bitter spray, then there's a sour apple.
Okay.
And then you can go on Google, and like some people have done like cayenne with like water.
Yeah.
But you just have to be careful, because if you spray it on your hands and then you forget about it and you wipe your eyes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, because I had that happen to someone too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, that's the only other thing. And why I mentioned about the DNA is I think he's just maybe potentially even younger than we thought he was. I don't know. Or because I've never seen full-size huskies this small. So I don't know if he's just even younger than we thought he was. I have no idea.
I mean, you got just kind of a small build, yeah.
Like a husky, I've never seen this size male huskies.
Sure.
So.
Because
that's what's making me wonder about some of that lack of impulse control, that mouthiness, all of that. Feels like, is he younger than he is? I don't know.
Because how old do you think he is now?
Well, so they told me, when I got him, they told me he was over 2.
Okay.
Then when I went to the vet, they were like, yeah, between a year and 18 months then.
Okay.
This has been, that's 7 months since I got him. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the youngest he could be, because he's not grown since you've got him, right?
Not really.
He's not gotten tall or anything?
No.
Because dogs typically hit their height at 6 months.
Yeah.
And then they fill out.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So like.
We did about 7, 8 months. Yeah.
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 So, I mean, I look at him and I could see like a 2-year-old dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit more, 2.5-ish, probably.
Really?
Maybe. Yep.
Okay. The vet said 18 months.
But yeah, no. I mean, he may just be a smaller dude.
Smaller dude and just no training.
Like we have a golden retriever right now.
Yeah.
And Goldens are, like 80-ish, 90 pounds.
Yeah.
Man, she's like 45, 50.
If he was female, I'd not be worried because they are this size. The male being this small is what's surprising.
Sure.
Yeah.
And also their diet before that
younger.
also happens.
Yeah.
Like if people are feeding like a lower end food, they don't get all the nutrition they need. That can also be a factor for the behavior.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's all I have. I just need to practice the recall with him.
Yeah. So, hopefully the weather stays nice.
Yeah.
But recall takes the longest anyways. Yeah. So don't be so pressed on like, it's been 2 months and it's not conditioned yet. Yeah. It just takes time. Okay. Anything else?
No, I think good boy. That's it. So I had not done heel in a while. Because I wasn't putting his collar on.
Sure.
But I started putting this collar on 2 days ago, and I got them to sit in the heel. And when they pulled, I brought them back into line. They remembered right away. They just went back to it, and they were right by my side.
Yeah, when it comes to e-collar, I tell people it's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
They don't forget.
Yeah.
They get sloppier, but they don't fully forget.
Yeah.
Because
they got it. Yeah.
Because I've trained dogs for rescues.
Yeah.
And I'll tell them with the e-collar, and I'll tell them like, don't worry about the training. Like they're gonna forget it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, when they get adopted, I'll work with the owners.
Yeah.
And then when I work like 15, 20 minutes, everything comes back.
Yeah.
So that's one of the beauties of the e-collar, is that they never fully forget it.
Yeah.
Okay. If anything, if they're ever having trouble, I just help the owner raise a number. Because the dog, it's been so long that the dog doesn't care. And then when you raise a number, all of a sudden like, oh yeah, I remember all this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. But otherwise, everything looked good.
Yeah.
So we'll work on the stay stuff next time.
Yeah.
And then if anything else pops up, you just let us know.
Yeah, I will. I think it's just it's the impulse control. Yeah, I think those are the things only. Otherwise, he's been pretty good. Look at that. Good boy, baby. Good job. You've been really good. Yeah.
And the stuff with the tapping, like you said earlier, like if he's chasing something or whatever, that also helps with impulse control. Okay. Because you're telling him he can't always do it whenever he wants.
Yeah, he likes to bite the leash. He likes to jump on you. Those are the things also.
Yeah, all that stuff you can tap for.